Palafox, Bvoy both had big carry performances, and I also think Contractz had a much better game number 2. I always feel like this team does so much better when he can actually get things rolling early on. His Maokai was so much better than Xinjiao was in game number 1, and considering that River was also a huge playmaker in game 1 and really wasn't able to get nearly as much done, even on his iconic Jarvan in game number 2, it feels like a tale of junglers here in terms of who's actually able to make those plays.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree Contractz was a lot better in the second game. I also think Palafox played really well. Bvoy played really well. So definitely a much better game 2. Game 1, Palafox, was really struggling. Didn't really find much of anything on the Annie. But game 2 looking strong. It's going to be a Trundle first pick here for Contractz, almost guaranteed. And Trundle really has risen in priority quite a lot. Sometimes not going to be your first pick in the first game or 2, but Trundle really has become popular, has a lot of good matchups with many of the meta junglers. Does kind of deny tank picks, or at least reduce the effectiveness of tank picks just by nature of being in the draft, and can really make it difficult for champions without a dash to actually even just get away or deal with them in team fights.
Yeah, and a lot of the champions too, when you think about popular stuff, when you think about like Vi, who is very frequently banned, right? Like this is a champion, if a lot of your character's power budget is in gap closing and being able to have target access, Trundle loves that because he has no target access. His target access is you jumping on him, and he is happy to take a chomp out of you as soon as you're within range. But we will see the Kaisa and the first Nocturne of the split locked in for 100 Thieves.
So you see Kaisa Nocturne, you know it is going to be full dive here. Neeko is the answer as the counter engage, which is interesting. I was going to say, as soon as I see that, I feel like Renata is just going to go crazy. But instead, they are going to go for a different answer here. Renata, to me, just really does shut down dive comp so hard. And it's very difficult to even like pivot your draft once you have these first 2 to kind of do something else.
Yeah.
But Neeko can definitely work. If you're overcommitting in onto the Sivir or mid laner for Palafox, whatever, then the Neeko obviously can come through with the Pop Blossom and really make things difficult. But we will see where they want to go as far as what Palafox is going to play, because Sivir so far is going to be an obvious target for the dive.
Yeah.
And the question is, what else are you going to draft around it? Are you going to be trying to draft, a lot of heal and kind of more defensive stuff? Are you going to draft multiple threats so that if you lose one, the others can kind of clean up the fight? There's different schools of thought. Sometimes you do get those comps that it's like, okay, we just have, similar to what we had last game, where you have like, okay, you have Azir and you have Sivir or whatever, and everyone else is there to protect them. Other times you're like, okay, we have actually just like 4 different people who can deal damage, and if you lose one, it's okay because you have Mbessa and you have this and you have that, and you kind of add in all of these different threats that make it much more difficult. I do feel like Nocturne Kaisa really excels at just taking down like one target. So
yeah,
if you can draft multiple threats, have Fudge still on a carry, I think I would prefer that, because then you're trying to dive through a Pop Blossom from the support. You're trying to dive through a Trundle who's going to be able to put out damage. Fudge is on a carry as well. It's like that makes it really tough to just ignore those other characters and try to take down Bvoy or Palafox.
And you talk about how difficult Trundle makes it for any enemy champion that doesn't have a dash to really like move around, reposition on the battlefield. Yeah, Kaisa and Nocturne both have a big dash in their ultimates, but then that's it. If they go in and they fail that initial mission, that initial one-shot, all of a sudden there's a pillar right behind you. It's very difficult to get away. You're on top of a champion that not just stat checks you, but siphons those stats as well. It's got to be on point for the side of 100 Thieves, as we can see a lot of top lane bans here in the second half of the draft. K'Sante, Ornn, and Rumble all banned away with 1 left to go for Shopify.
So 100 Thieves definitely expecting that Fudge would want to go towards a tank, saying, okay, maybe they're thinking he would be a lot easier to pick on in the side lane if he is on a carry. So if you do have that Nocturne, you can play towards those side lanes a lot more easily. A lot of AP characters taken off the table here as well. Sylas, the Aurora, the Akali, the Rumble, all going to be taken away here. Dhokla, are they going to blind pick him, or is it going to be Quid that is last pick? I feel like it makes a lot more sense. Probably just blind pick top, go something kind of standard, like the lines of the Renekton.
Yeah.
It does always feel like a relatively safe blind pick up in top lane. And then you save last pick here for Quid, who was a massive difference maker in game number 1 especially.
I mean, if I'm thinking about top lane champions in League of Legends, if I had to pick one champion to summarize the role of top lane, it would be Renekton, right?
Yeah.
He fits into pretty much every comp. He can do a little bit of everything. He's a strong laner, so never feel bad about blind picking a Renekton. But over on Shopify's side, let's see what they got cooking here for these solo lanes.
I wouldn't be surprised by just Viktor Aatrox.
Okay.
I feel like that's like pretty standard. You know, maybe Fudge would be nervous about, playing Aatrox into the Renekton because there's also the Nocturne there. But with all of the prime tanks kind of gone, I don't really know that there's anything that's like more safe than that. You could go Gnar or something, but I feel like when you're in mini and you get Nocturne ulted, you're pretty cooked. There are other tank options that are less meta, and you actually need to go for one. So Cho'Gath, interesting. So Cho'Gath definitely is pretty far down the table, I think, as far as what top laners will play, as far as the tanks go. Sion obviously was played earlier. Ornn and Xante are banned out. Those are like the big three by far. And then you have to go kind of way down the tier list, I feel like, to get some of those other tanks in top. Cho'Gath can be quite strong. The question is, can you actually punish him before he gets to that point? Because Cho'Gath is a really slow starter, does need to scale, does need to get feast stacks to be powerful enough. This is interesting, though, with the Ahri coming through. Maybe they're just saying, okay, you're not actually going to have enough damage to actually kill off the Cho'Gath later on. As long as he gets tanky, you can throw down the silence, which can be incredibly annoying for some of these divers. Like Ahri ults forward and then just gets silenced by Cho'Gath. All of a sudden, you can just get focused down. That could be pretty frustrating. But I'm not as familiar with this top lane matchup. I am expecting it to just be like the grass tank style of Cho'Gath because it is into a melee matchup. And as long as you can kind of sustain through those early levels and keep getting access to the wave to just have your passive just non-stop feeding your health and mana, I think you will be okay, but it is always scary in those early levels.
I mean, it's full dive just like we expected from 100 Thieves, but man, the answers from Shopify, I like them a lot. It feels like every single one of these champions is built to create a defensive, protective bubble around Sivir or Viktor, whoever gets dove on. You've got Gravity Well, you've got Pop Blossom, you've got the Pillar. You already mentioned the power of Cho'Gath Silence. Silence as a mechanic used to be far more prevalent in League of Legends. It is one that barely exists in most kits on most champions now because it is so overwhelmingly powerful. Cho'Gath is one of the few champions that still has it, and especially if you need to have the execution that 100 Thieves needs. If that dive has to work, the difference between a silence hitting or not is the difference between someone living or not.
It absolutely is, and it's kind of like I was saying, even though Fudge isn't on a carry, they have threat from all of the three kind of like non-carry, quote-unquote, positions, right? Yeah, you have Palafox, you have Bvoy, they're playing carries, that's not a surprise. But Trundle actually does a lot of damage. Trundle is difficult to fight through. The Neeko support has really good counter engage, and it's not just the silence that's going to be frustrating from Fudge. You're going to go in and you're trying to dive past the Cho'Gath who's going to silence you, potentially knock you up, and then Feast is going to be like 1,000 true damage right in your face. So it is going to be difficult to pull off, but if Shopify fall behind, things can definitely get tough for them.
All right. So in other words, we need to see how well 100 Thieves can get ahead early and then keep snowballing that pace. Because I feel like if they don't get ahead, then yeah, where's the kill power towards the Cho'Gath? How do you fight through the Trundle? Like, how do you deal with Viktor's incredible scaling?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really tough, and they don't have great scaling to even play through side lanes with the Nocturne, so I'm concerned about 100 Thieves draft, but Dhokla, he talked about it in my interview with him earlier. Contractz was saying he'd been out of commission for a while. Dhokla's like, I've been in commission. I've been playing more solo queue than anyone. 1,200 games played this split, so definitely playing a lot. But I found it funny that his most played was actually Garen. He had like 250 or something like that games of Garen.
250 Garen games.
Like a lot of Garen games. And generally when you look through pro players solo queue, especially top laners, I feel like you just see the same things. It's like, oh, it's Jace and Mbessa and Renekton and like just like the most standard stuff.
Yep.
And they usually don't venture out too much. So seeing Garen games is sometimes a surprise anyway, but seeing the most played by Garen is like, whoa.
It's like, I'm kind of hoping he breaks that out now,
yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Like, a little bit disappointed that we didn't get any Garen this series,
Come on,
but we'll see. We'll see. There's still plenty of League left to play throughout the split. Eyla threw out the Zenith Blade there, but does not find a target onto Seos or Bvoy, as Seos will get a little bit of damage there. But top lane seems to be going Dhokla's way here early on. Like you said, it takes Cho'Gath a little bit of time to get going.
And I mean, the biggest thing is, can you deny Cho'Gath access to the wave? If you can do that, Cho'Gath will really struggle. The reason he's so tanky in lane is because of the sustain, right? Is because every minion that he kills, he is getting health and mana back. Carnivore, it's 20 health as well as 5 mana for every minion that you do kill. So,
and that's just at level 2. It scales up, right, as he levels.
So it does get really difficult to actually take him down, but the question is, how does Dhokla want to play this out? Quid is getting really low, though. He's kind of getting blasted right now in these trades.
Yeah, he is not having fun over there in mid lane with the Ahri. Barely 100 health to his name, as it looks like we're going to see Shopify go ahead and use that priority from the bottom lane to push up together with Contractz, steal away the enemy blue buff, deny that from River's Nocturne.
Kind of reminiscent of Game 1, where we saw Seos getting involved, pushing into the enemy jungle, helping to deny things from River. And you want to be able to keep this Nocturne down. Now he's seeing, like, is there an angle for a gank? But he's actually warded out. There's 3 wards in his jungle on that bottom side. So they have full information of him. And being able to delay the Nocturne is really good, because all this guy wants to do is farm to 6. And that's kind of your MO the entire game, is you farm, your ult's up, make a play, and then right back to farming, because this champion generally does not do a lot without the ulti. But if you can be successful with those ganks, it can be huge. Here comes Dhokla, though, looking for a potential angle.
Yeah, should just be able to slice forward and get a stun at least. There we go, Ruthless Predator. A little bit more damage. Palafox, though, cool and confident, knows that Dhokla can't kill him without overcommitting, so does not waste the flash.
Yeah, and Dokla's just running straight down towards bot side, so they're actually pulling off a swap here. He gets this chunk down onto Palafox, and now the TP in is very aggressive.
Oh boy, yeah, Dokla's still here. River is right here. The teleport's coming up. Palafox lands and flashes, because if he doesn't, he's in trouble.
Yeah, he knew Dhokla and River were around, but I guess his assumption was Dhokla would have just continued his path down towards bot. Now River in trouble.
Yeah, River immediately finds himself in a 1v2 against the Cho'Gath and Trundle combo, and Contractz takes him out. Fudge working together there with his jungler gets the better of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Dhokla makes a good roam, but Fudge makes an even better one from the brush, lands the knock up there, and then Contractz able to come in. They get the flash off of River, they get the kill onto the Trundle, and that is going to be a problem. Trundle from ahead, so strong. You finish that Triforce early, you are just slapping people up. You can win 1v1s pretty easily against a lot of carries. FBI and Eyla a little bit late to be matched, though, because Fudge was slow to go back to base off of that. And both top laners have not yet used their TP, but Dhokla hasn't even based. So Dokla's hanging around. He obviously wants to be able to catch this wave, but I am nervous for him being able to catch it. And instead, he's actually just going to go right back towards mid once again.
Okay, they're looking to put the pressure on Palafox over here in the mid lane. Gravity Well is used, but the charm already connects onto the Viktor. Palafox knows he ain't going anywhere. The Q return spells doom for the Shopify mid laner as Quid cashes in.
Now the question is, can Dhokla actually catch this wave on bot side? Is crashing just about now, so I want to see how many minions he's going to lose. Looks like he lost the melees, but most of the range will be there, and the next wave will be coming in. So, I mean, Dhokla has been roaming a ton, right? Like, that is his third trip through mid lane. So he is going to be sacrificing his own experience, his own lane a little bit. You can see, well, we'll check in how far down he is in experience once he catches this whole wave, but for now, he's about half a level behind where Fudge is, as well as some farm. So the question is going to be, like, can Quid pay this back now, right? Because Quid has gotten a lot of help. Palafox was giving him the hands in the 1v1 early, but a lot of pressure put in on Palafox, plus a pretty aggressive TP, meant that eventually he does get taken down. And Quid and Dhokla still have their flash. Palafox, of course, will not. So you have to be worried about, River hitting 6 with no flash on Palafox. They're likely to just look for him once again and continue trying to pick on Palafox.
Well, River's going to go ahead and start up the Drake right now. Remember, the Cloud Drake early on does do quite a bit of damage, especially if you're attempting to take it without help. So that means Dhokla does at least need to hang around the area, make sure that nobody from Shopify can move over, interfere with River taking this. He's going to pick up some honey fruits there to keep his HP nice and high. Yes, there is the control ward in the pit that sees what's going on, but Shopify doesn't have anybody nearby to try to contest it. So this should be first Drake over to 100 Thieves for free, as Fudge is just going to keep on farming up here with the Cho'Gath. Critically, though, he has not used the feast on a minion. Sometimes you'll see Cho'Gath hits level 6, immediately just chomps the first minion he can find to get that on cooldown. But I think since there was the Drake available, since there was the possibility of a fight, he wanted to hold on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's always kind of that thought process of, if you think you can make a fight happen and get a kill potentially, then you want to hold on to your feast. If not, you should just insta-use it and get stacks, right? You kind of have to make that judgment on what it's going to be. As Palafox again gets a great trade onto Quid, uses his ult and just chunks him very, very low. And again, every time Dhokla moves, there is a cost, right? Because while he moved up to cover the dragon, the wave was actually frozen against him. So, he is down still about half a level. There's 3 more minions for him to collect, but even more than half a level, honestly, at this point, plus the CS. So Fudge has been kind of gifted a free lane due to the way that Dhokla is playing this out. And clearly, their thought process is get Quid ahead. He will pay it back, but at least thus far, Quid has not been able to.
Ooh, immediate engage coming out from 100 Thieves, though. Seos is already down, but Contractz is ready to follow it up and makes it a 1-for-1 trade. Now River could be in a little bit of a tough spot as Bvoy fires back. Needs some more damage, though. FBI popping the barrier, looking to stay alive as Dhokla heals up there with a call to make, but Fudge cuts him down. Shopify Rebellion win out across the map as FBI dies at the back end of the top side fight as well.
Yeah, they're winning on both sides. That is so big for Shopify. Trundle getting another kill and surviving. Even though they insta-killed Seos, it just doesn't even matter because it's just Seos. You spent so much on killing this Neeko, and then you're having to deal with the Sivir, with the Trundle. They go in and they don't have anything to really do on the back end of the fight. They flash in, they ult in from both FBI and River, but in comes Trundle. Eyla goes down in a hurry, and Trundle has lethal, the PTA stacked, pops that, and Bvoy's just free hitting this whole time. Right when he has full stacks on him, Contractz just backs up and does not allow FBI to actually proc the passive, and that hurts. Flashing away, that final auto follows and does get the kill. Dhokla flashes back to the wave there for the empowered Q to try to heal up off the minions plus Fudge, but with the feast, has enough damage. Doesn't get the feast stack, but is able to take him out.
Nice spots. All right, Ahri's timer. Okay, guys? You guys can't stay too long.
No, that was especially tragic for 100 Thieves because FBI and Dhokla both flashing to try to survive and outplay and both still dying. That's a gut punch, man.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like this is a team that has to play from way ahead, and they're pretty behind, right?
Yep, about 1,500.
Yeah, I definitely did not love the draft, and we're kind of seeing why. Interesting, Contractz actually does decide to go for Sundered Sky, so he's not going to go for Triforce in this game, but we'll have that first item completed. And Fudge does stop for the Bramble Vest, but expecting that he'll just go in towards Heartsteel. There's 3 melees over on the other side, and both FBI and Quid are relatively short range, so you should get value, and especially if you're just scrapping back and forth, with this grasp, with what I'm expecting is an Emax. Yeah, he is Emax. You'll get a lot of procs out of that and a lot of value out of it as well.
We've got our grubs up 10 minutes into the game. Those haven't been taken yet. Honestly, that's kind of rare. I feel like a lot of times grubs are at least attempted and the first one is taken right around their spawn timer. And hey, there it is. As soon as we look over at them, Shopify Rebellion is working to take the objective. The first one's going to go ahead and drop the Contractz. River's making his way over. Eyla and FBI right next to him. Shopify, though, should, if nothing else, just be able to smite down this second one. Doesn't even need to use it just yet. Instead, they'll secure that one with just the auto attacks. Should be able to grab this last one here with a smite. There it is. All 3 grubs over to Shopify Rebellion.
I mean, Dhokla is just not able to do anything in this 1v1 anymore, too. He spent so much time roaming. Quid hasn't really even gotten an advantage. It felt like Quid just kept losing to Palafox even after all the help that he got. And that is the worst feeling when you're like, okay, I'll sacrifice my game, but I'll put you in a position to win. Right. And then they are still losing. It's like, well, but wait, that's not what was supposed to happen, because now he is down over a full level. He can't really trade. He can't win an all-in. He's going to get outscaled. So that is just brutal. And the amount of wave clear that Shopify has between the Sivir and this Viktor means that if they don't want to fight and they just want to sit and farm, they can do that. So 100 Thieves, I'm not really sure where they go from here other than just kind of showing up to objectives and hoping you one-shot the carries.
They go in. That's the only place they can go. That is the only thing their draft allows them to do. They must go in. We'll see how well they can do it. They've got the, what's that thing? Experimental Hexplate completed there for River on the Nocturne. Black Cleaver finally done for Dhokla there on the Renekton. But it's like you already said, Fudge on this Cho'Gath is so comfortable in this side lane now. There's not really any chance for Renekton to go in and, like you were talking about earlier, force you off the wave, force you to have to play so respectfully of him. Sure, he combos you. Okay, maybe he takes off a quarter of your health. All right, you just eat the whole wave, and now you're back to full.
Yeah, the only concern is, let's see this.
Hold on. Seos could be in a little bit of trouble here. Wants to turn around onto FBI. Gets a 2-man Pop Blossom as River tries to dive in, and FBI chasing now after his opponent. Bvoy survives for the time being, but FBI down to 200 HP has to continue making some space. Palafox and Contractz are here. Nobody on 100 Thieves dies, and they get their pick.
Yeah, the one thing I was going to say, only concern for Fudge, still 0 feast stacks, and we're 12 minutes in. So he's not using them on the wave at all. He did get a kill with his feast, but it was not a killing blow, so you don't actually get the stack. As Quid had the Malignants, you know, they are able to actually reveal the Malignants and the Hexblade there. They do get 1 kill, and then it did go to Quid, so he's up 400 gold. So in a pretty decent spot. FBI completes his Kraken off the back of that fight as well, but it's Shopify starting up the Dragon first here, and without Nocturnal, I can't really see them contesting this. I feel like it would be very, very difficult.
Quid's gonna walk up past the Trundle pillar here. He's gonna see Palafox waiting around nearby. Gravity Well slows Quid down, but it's not like it would be able to lock him up. Now that we've got Seos also in the area, Contractz should have full confidence to be able to finish off this objective. But Quid and Eyla are seeing if maybe there is a trap to be set. Maybe they can catch Palafox unawares, but that's not going to happen. The Death Ray so effective at just clearing out these waves instantly now, as Seos and Contractz thinking about maybe an opportunity for a dive, but they think the better. Yep,
not going to look for that, knowing that Eyla is around. Fudge definitely needs to start just feasting
Someone
minions.
Feed this Cho'Gath.
Feast some minions.
He's hungry.
I feel like you get into this like sunk cost fallacy sometimes as Cho'Gath, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna save it because maybe I could kill him, and then there's no fights, and you're like, well, I already saved it for this long, so I gotta keep it just in case there's a fight. Because what if I use it on the minion, then he fights me? And it's just like, well, you're just not getting any stacks, right? And it is a lot of health that you are gaining, and of course the health then does scale with your feast, and it all kind of feeds into itself. So we'll see if he's going to use the feast now, but
eat one of them.
Chomp it.
Eat it.
You know you want to.
Eat the minion. Eat it.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
All right.
14 minutes in, no feast stacks. That might be a first for me.
Wait, no, there's 4.
Wait, is there?
Or wait, maybe that's the Otacon flower. No, that's the Otacon flower. I'm stupid. Okay.
I was like, wait, am I blind?
No, my bad. That was an Otacon flower. I was like, wait a second.
Minions chomped, 0 pets gobbled, 0 monsters eaten, 0 dragons consumed, 0 epic monsters ingested, and 0 champions devoured. They each have their own little descriptor.
The Cho'Gath is hungry,
but he's like owning. Like he's way up in lane. He just doesn't have any feast stacks.
We need one of those.
He's just not hungry. He already ate.
You know those sad pet commercials with Sarah McLachlan where she says that you can like
with the eyes of the angel in the background.
Yeah. With the arms of the angels. That's what we need for Cho'Gath because he's hungry. For $1 a day, you can help Cho'Gath find himself some feast stacks.
You too can feed yordles to Cho'Gath.
Every $1 is another yordle fed into the gaping maw of Cho'Gath.
They're very cost effective. You know what? For Teemo, I'd spend 5.
Yeah. There's another trip to Vandal City. Just grab a bag full of yordles and feed them to Cho'Gath.
He's starving out here, Flowers. Somebody help him.
You know, Riot dev team, you know what you guys should make? A special custom version of skee ball, where instead of the normal holes to sink the balls in, it's Cho'Gath mouths, and the little balls are yordles, and you're just bowling the yordles into the Cho'Gath.
There's a whole bunch of stuff we could go. I was thinking, you know, hungry hippos, but it's Cho'Gath and
yordles.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
That would hit.
Yeah, that would
play
be pretty legit. I would play that game.
Yeah.
That would be good. We could use that for tiebreakers.
There you go.
That would be fantastic. Fudge is making his way into the fight now, though. We'll see if he can eat anything in this one, as Dhokla's immediately ready to answer here with a TP. The Herald got down to half HP, but the patience is reset. Shopify forced off the objective. Contractz stepping forward a little bit further here, but nobody on 100 Thieves is giving Shopify a chance to find anything back. So the wave's going to get cleared out mostly. Bvoy doing most of the job on that one, as Quid has to use his ulti to escape from the ulti of Palafox. So we don't have an Arcane Storm, we don't have a Spirit Rush, both mid laners without the ultis, but it's Quid who's very low on HP now as well. Makes it very difficult for 100 Thieves
stack, here we go.
Try and fight. All right, come on, Fudge, eat it. There we go. All right, Cho'Gath on the board. Thank you, Sarah McLachlan.
He was just saving his calories for a big meal, you know?
Okay, all right.
Yordles can't be more than a couple hundred calories. How many calories is a Rift Herald? That thing's huge.
Probably like 1 million. It's really big.
There you go. He didn't want to waste his calories on some Yordles.
Right.
He was saving up for the big meal.
Why have a TV dinner when you can have a gourmet feast, like 7 courses?
Dad's barbecue and steak. You just got to hold out.
Yeah, all right, okay. I can respect it, Fudge. Quid is making his way back up here, but without an ulti, Ahri might as well be a cannon minion to a Cho'Gath. Like, there's just absolutely no
Even
threat.
with the ulti.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. He doesn't really ever do anything to the Cho'Gath. River is hanging around here, but even with Nocturne and Ahri together, it is pretty hard to kill Fudge. You can see FBI was also pathing up towards this direction, but Fudge is going to back away.
Yep, Fudge is just going to back it off. And Shopify is just going to keep doing what they're doing. I think they're just going to keep farming and scaling and saying, you know what, we get more from this than you guys do, and we have really good wave clear. Honestly, all three, between the Sivir, the Cho'Gath, as well as the Viktor, can clear waves out quite effectively. And there's just not really like a great lane to play towards. Clearly, all the eggs have been kind of put in the Quid basket here early on. 100 Thieves had Dhokla go mid lane 3 times in a row. River's kind of trying to help him and so on. But even with him getting 2 kills, every time we look at mid lane, he's just getting beat by Palafox, right? Like every time we look at those 2 mid laners, the trades are going Palafox's way. They have not been able to find any sort of an engage to actually chain kill off this Viktor that they put the pressure on early.
And you mentioned all of this wave clear on the side of Shopify, which also poses another problem for 100 Thieves in that I don't think they can ever end this game without a Baron.
Yeah.
So unless you can get yourself to a point where you can force that, it's a real tall task to put yourself in a spot to really try to lock the game in. As we can see, Shopify stepping forward, wanting to contest here for the 3rd Drake of the game. It's 1-1 so far, so not an emergency for either side if the other one gets it. Dhokla already using the Dominus, though, forced back by Palafox. Nocturne ulti's not doing a whole lot here as River is trapped inside the pit having to deal with Contractz. Sayos goes in for the Pop Blossom. He only finds FBI, but that's a pretty good target. 100 Thieves trying to scramble a little bit now as Shopify run forward. Fudge needs a little bit more damage and Quid is gone. Dhokla into the back line causing some trouble for Shopify, but not enough. Shopify Rebellion, they'll take the 1 kill, they'll take the Drake, they'll take the fight.
Yeah, nicely done there by Shopify. Able to get quite a bit off of this, and we're just seeing it just feels like a lack of damage. They can't actually get through. Eyla in some trouble, but FBI and River are there to cover. And it's just been really difficult for them. You see River pop the ulti, and he's like, wait, who do I go on? It's like, what?
And then the entire time, he's getting beat to death by Contractz' Trundle.
Like, he couldn't actually ult really in on Palafox. On the other side, there was multiple members that were stacked up. If he ults over there, he's just going to get devoured by the... The observers just did him so dirty. He missed the P-stack on the cannon.
All right, we need to air the commercial again.
That is crazy stuff that we went to that. But this is, River pops the ulti. He's like, wait, where do I go? Like, I can't ult in over towards Bvoy and Fudge or I'll die. I can't ult in towards Palafox or I'll die. And I'm losing the fight in towards the Trundle. So Fudge is pushing through. Yes, he does eventually get low and has to run, but I mean, it's looking tough. Contractz feels completely uncontested.
That would have been 2 kills if Feast was off cooldown.
I have Sonya's already, guys.
True.
The game is over.
Sorry, Fudge. Don't hate me when you watch the VOD back. Okay, so
He's got 2 stacks. He doubled them.
Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're making our way downtown. Making our
20
way.
minutes. 1 stack per 10 minutes. That's the pace you want to be at.
All right, 1 hour game. We're gonna have 6. We'll be there eventually.
Exactly.
But we do have 2,500 gold lead for Shopify. They do have the Drake lead, although it is still just a 2-to-1 split. They've got all 3 grubs. Honestly, the game is looking really good for this team, especially considering we were talking about 100 Thieves had to play from ahead. They needed to make sure that they could make this dive happen. When they go in, they've got to get their man, and they are just not there.
I mean, maybe if like Bvoy or someone is way out of position and just dies for free, you can do something, but I kind of feel like you full send it on Bvoy or Palafox, you kill them, and then you realize, oh wait, like Trundle and Viktor and everyone is hitting us and we're kind of just dying. So I just feel like they don't have any damage to actually kill off this comp when they're playing from this kind of a position. So Shopify played it slow, played it steady, and feel like they're playing with a really big draft advantage and looking good.
Okay, 100 Thieves looking to make their dive now. The Pop Blossom defensively finds 3, and Shopify are firing back. Eyla is already down. That was 100 Thieves full send. That was their attempt. That was their trigger pull, and the gun blew up in their hand.
Yeah, that one's feeling like a little bit of a death knell there for them, as now Shopify going to go right down to Otacon. Bvoy's a little bit low. They can try to get back out there. They're going to teleport. This is pretty early, though, and now Dhokla's going to be the one potentially caught out on this TP.
Oh, boy, they're already waiting. Dhokla's in some danger, having to try to slice and dice his way back out. His stats have been sapped. He's knocked up into the air by the Rupture, and he's already dead. Dhokla spins his summoner spell just to pay Shopify Rebellion.
All right, at the very least, he stopped them from doing the Otacon, and FBI is going to be pushing mid lane. The question is, can they just like go back out on the map and start Otacon once again, knowing Dhokla's dead for 30 and has no teleport?
Yeah.
There's a lot of members moving down towards bot, but not all of them, so no guarantee.
He ate another one. He's up to 3.
That's a drastic increase in the speed.
Yeah, this is big pace. Big pace.
Huge.
Okay, 2-0 and 2 on the Cho'Gath. 2-0 and 4. on the Trundle. We've also got the Dead Man's Plate completed now for Contractz, which makes Trundle so obnoxious because it's so easy for him to get in pillar range now and force 100 Thieves to kind of scramble and panic, trying to make sure nobody gets caught out.
Yeah, exactly. He actually has 5 points in Frozen Domain, so he's 3-5-3 as far as the skill order. So really prioritizing the move speed there quite a lot. Of course, it is giving you additional attack speed as well. But you are so difficult to actually escape from and so difficult to lock down, as that was that TP play from Dhokla. Goes in, and look at the reaction. I mean, they know, unless their team makes some big mistakes, this game is pretty cooked for 100 Thieves. They had a good start, but these last 2 games haven't really been able to get much purchase in the game.
I mean, I feel like besides spilling coffee on the computer, it's pretty hard to fumble this game state for Shopify. With the commanding lead they've already established, Quid knocked up into the air, silence, slowed down, Contractz ready to follow it up, a little bit more damage, won't find its way to the health bar, so Quid stays alive. But the enemy mid laner, the man you put so much effort, so much time, so many resources into trying to get ahead, he's at 200 HP, he's got no ulti, he's forced out of any potential fight. As immediately those Tangle Barbs almost catch Dhokla, but they don't quite hit the mark. And Shopify Rebellion have total control over the bot side river. The nice part for 100 Thieves is it's not quite synced up with the Dragon timer that Quid had to go back to base. But Contractz has now found Eyla. A little bit of damage here, but not quite enough to get a kill just yet. Arcane Storm forcing a flash out. That is 2 ultis used by Shopify Rebellion. No kill going their way, but it is a tempo advantage as Eyla has to go all the way back to base.
Yeah, it feels like that's probably the Dragon off the back of that. No problem. They are going to pull it and start it up here. Fudge does not have Thieves to help secure, but it will be up pretty shortly.
10 seconds.
Yeah, 100 Thieves still in the area, seeing if there's any sort of an angle to get something done, but just with no ult on Quid, with no flash on Eyla, it feels really difficult to even try to approach. Dhokla is behind them, but this is going to be gone, and there's another stack going over to Fudge.
Yep, they've already got the Drake, and now Dhokla's got to try to get away because Palafox found him. Contractz flashing out. Fudge is going to cover his retreat. Dhokla, now isolated from the rest of the team, has to flash back over the wall to make sure he does not get caught by the Tangle Barbs there from Seos. Another win for Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, and if you think that front line is tanky now, wait until they get Ocean Soul. That is going to be almost impossible to do anything. 100 Thieves, yeah, it's time to flip it. Just start the Otacon, do something. Like, this game is looking so cooked, so even if it's like a 10% chance, I feel like it's better than what they have now.
Yep, it's a YOLO play, but that's what you need sometimes. Otacon down to 5,000 HP. It's 100 Thieves are looking to send it back on a Fudge, who flashes over the wall, staying alive for now, but he's very, very low. Pop Blossom onto 2. FBI's first to die. Quid having a dash back over the wall to stay alive, as Dhokla will be the next man down, and Fudge never even falls. Otacon finally slain by River, but it costs a heavy price. Double kill back over to Contractz, and Shopify Rebellion are loving the results of that fight.
Yeah, exactly. They get 3 kills that they give up, but more than that, you're going to lose a ton because it's going to be Baron. Off the back of that, pretty much guaranteed. You have to think, yeah, they get the Otacon, but it was already looking so brutal in this game, so I'm not going to blame them for the attempt here. Like I said, I feel like this game was already completely cooked, so just send it, see if you can actually get something done. But this counter engage, great from Seos, comes over the wall. They can't even get the kill on Fudge, that insult to injury. And then back in live, we are seeing them do the Baron here, but River just now responding as it is incredibly low. And I don't think he's going to be able to get there in time to even see the Baron die.
Yep, Baron already slain. Nobody from 100 Thieves nearby.
No.
I don't really know what that was, but
I don't know. I'm trying to think, what is he even knowing? Everything went well.
Yeah, everything.
Maybe it was like, I didn't get the smite.
No. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, he got the smite. But 6K is the gold lead. They have the Baron. Ocean Soul here in 245. This one feels like it is pretty much wraps. Yeah, it's just so tough when you don't have any sort of real scaling on your team. Like, you don't have any, there's not like the, oh, but if we play to the Jackson the side lane, or, oh, if like we just delay enough time for our Azir to get 6 items. Oh, you know, like there's nothing like that.
All of the O's favor the other team.
That is way ahead. Yeah.
It's like, well, we're down 6,000 gold, but what about Trek? No, they have dragons. Well, what about map pressure? No, they have map pressure. Well, what about if we can hang back and clear wit? No, we can't really do that.
The good news is 100 Thieves has about as many feast stacks as Fudge.
Hey, come on. He's getting up there. I got to defend him now. He's up to 5. We're making some progress.
Yeah,
we're getting there. I wish everybody at home could see the grin on your face as you're looking at the
He only
Thieves.
needs 4 more minions. The question is he going to get his guaranteed 6 free minion feasts before the game ends?
Brother, I think this game is going to end far
So do
faster
I.
than that. Like, Shopify Rebellion is up 7,000 gold. It's going to be closer to 8,000 here after this tier 2 is taken mid. Okay, I guess it'll bounce back closer to 7.5 because Dhokla is at least going to get the tier
Check
1
the bounty.
turret top lane. That is the first turret that 100 Thieves have acquired in 28 minutes of gameplay. It's a rough one. River's going in though. Paranoia already popped. Ayla tries to hop in first, but immediately takes a ton of damage. Seo's staying alive for now, finds the pop loss, and River is already dead. Dhokla makes his entry into the back part of the lines of Shopify, but it will not matter. 100 Thieves, they have no damage. They have no chance. They have nobody left alive. A triple kill for the Viktor of Palafox. A clean ace for Shopify Rebellion, and that's your game-winning team fight right there. They're going to take down 100 Thieves.
And Shopify Rebellion going to continue their winning ways here, move to 3-0 as far as the match score is completed.
And this was the most one-sided game in the series. 15-3, 11,000 gold lead by the time it's done. There's not even anybody to farm left alive. Eyla respawns, only to be hit immediately with the pillar, and Shopify will take the dub.
Strong performance here from Shopify in games 2 and 3. Game 1 was looking a little bit tough, but game 2, game 3, they really did look strong. And 100 Thieves, especially in game 3, could not get anything going whatsoever. At least in game 2, you're like, well, they can scale. Maybe they can actually play out these team fights well. They have a good shot. But game 3 just felt completely hopeless, almost from the word go. It's like, despite all the help that they gave to Quid, he couldn't get any sort of an edge whatsoever.
I mean, we talked about it back in the draft. The way that they were drafting, it's like, this is it. You must full send, you must get ahead, you must kill whoever you go after, and they couldn't make it happen. Hey, reminder though, during LTA North Split 3, you could win a trip to a League of Legends event or a set of 6 Player of the Week statues. Use your Chase Freedom Flex MasterCard to make a purchase from the in-client store and save your card on file to be entered for a chance to win. And the Lounge will be talking with Fudge ahead of the next series. That's Fly versus